Hey puppers, welcome back to our anniversary videos. So again, this is not the anniversary of Pupcorn, but our anniversary. And what we kind of do every year is watch a lot of movies, watch some TV, play a lot of video games, and then we kind of rank them from our favorites and stuff. So last year was a pretty long video. This year we chopped it up. We're doing it a little bit different. And today we are looking at video games. So some of the video games and stuff that we've played throughout the past year.
Mostly those that haven't been covered on Pupcorn.
Yeah,
yet.
so of course.
Most likely in the future get more coverage,
right.
But we're just going to touch on like how we felt throughout the year.
Yeah, definitely. Because all of these games are new to me. So anything that you've seen on Pupcorn was also like my first experience with it. And for the most part, that's what I've seen.
Last year, there were still a couple games that like you grew up with, like The Lion King, Sonic the Hedgehog, and stuff like that. But now we're kind of like weaning you off that. And
getting into more big kid games.
Into the big unknown.
Yeah. So I think one of the first ones that we played, you played and I more or less watched and listened to and fell asleep to, was Metroid Dread.
Metroid Dread. Yes. Oh my god. So I prepped you with Metroid Zero Mission.
Yes.
Just to see if you'd like the series.
So and you can watch my first experience on that in a different video.
Yeah, but you didn't write a first impressions.
No, I didn't.
Metroid. So let's share your thoughts.
I definitely like the idea of the game for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It definitely follows a different formula than a lot of the other games. Like, I remember playing it, and I immediately went to the right, and I was like, oh, there's nothing else I can do. I'm like, was I supposed to go to the left?
Mm-hmm.
And it feels very different than the standard game that I was used to kind of playing, where you go a certain direction, and you follow a certain pattern to make it through the game. And then this one was just like, nah, I don't think you will. So I like that. I also do like that it's kind of trial and error, but not to the extent of death. You know, you're not going to like fall off a cliff and die immediately and then get sent back to the beginning. To the best of my knowledge, anyway.
Okay, where am I going? How do I get there? Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's a lot of just like try and see, like, which I do like that.
Yeah.
To an extent.
It's my favorite kind of level design, to where like you start and you feel restricted.
Yeah.
And the more you learn and the more you get abilities,
the more you explore,
the more the world opens up to you.
So I feel like as well, the world isn't as big as we think it is. It's just so heavily layered. Like she can only go to certain areas once she has a certain weapon or certain suit and ability. So you're constantly revisiting, which makes it feel much bigger than it really is.
Yeah. And while I feel Zero Mission is like the first step, Dread is like the fine polish.
It's beautiful.
Of that formula. It looks great.
It's definitely
extremely
a challenging
game compared to Zero Mission. And it really puts your expertise of the series and like what you think you know to the test.
Because I know, like, being with you, I also learn a lot of the history of these games and their development, because you're very knowledgeable on that kind of stuff. And apparently Metroid was kind of left alone for like 10 years?
Close to 10 years.
So Metroid Dread was like a big thing whenever they were like, hey, we're coming out with a new Metroid.
Especially because like the last couple Metroids were very experimental.
Yeah.
They were trying to do new things, and it's just like, I appreciate what you're doing, but at the end of the day, like, focus on what makes this formula work, what makes this franchise work, and strengthen it.
And I haven't seen those other Metroids, but I have heard that they tried to, like, give her some sort of tragic backstory and things like that, whereas I don't think she really needs it.
Probably doesn't.
Again, I can't quite judge those ones because I haven't seen or played them. But for Metroid Dread, I love a lot of things that I've seen just from you playing it. I do love the main character. I like that she's a badass female that actually gets to wear a freaking suit of armor.
Yeah.
She's not like clad in this weird chainmail bikini and is like, go forth and conquer the world. She's like, no, bitch, I'm going to have a bunch of armor and be cool and badass. And I really like that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I enjoyed watching you play Metroid Dread. I don't know that I will be playing it anytime soon.
That was the time when I stayed up until like 2
oh god, and I like
morning.
sleep stared at you.
You sleep stared at me because I was just like, God damn, And you just
apparently I like rolled over and just like opened my eyes and stared at him, but I was completely I rolled over and just like opened my eyes and stared at him, but I was completely out. I have no recollection.
I was just like, yeah, I turned it off after you stared at me. You're like, I stared at you.
I was out.
I'm like, yeah, you looked right at me like.
I'm like a sleepwalker, sleep talker, so that's normal.
It was kind of scary.
I bet there was probably no one home. No one home in the eyes.
Like, remember when Luna stared you down because you scolded her? It's basically like, I just saw terrifying. 2 black eyes look at me like, you better turn that switch off. Okay, sweetie. Good night.
I don't know. It didn't bother me at all. I can sleep pretty much anywhere.
So let's talk about a game that like you were more hands-on with.
Yes. So that is The Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening.
Yeah, your first Zelda.
Yes, this was the remake though, not the original.
Yep.
I really enjoyed it. I liked it a lot more than I thought I was gonna like it.
Yay!
Because the way that you prepped me for Zeldas was like, you just kind of go. I was like, what do you mean you just kind of go?
Some Zeldas are you just kind of go. There's very much like ways to approach it.
And like I struggled a little bit in the beginning with like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. Just because I had no introduction to Zelda other than this game. So like I didn't know it's standard to like find the library, read the books, and then that gives you instructions on where to go next. And it's very much like a domino effect of when you go there, then you get something that leads you to the next place.
Yep.
So it took me a minute to kind of get into it. But that was one of the games where it's like you would come home and I'd be playing it. So I didn't need to have you.
Moments.
Yeah, I didn't need to have you at home to be like, hey,
yeah,
hey, help me. Even though you would be working here in the office and I'd be in the game room playing and it'd be like, son of a bitch, and then you'd come running in.
Yeah.
What happened? So,
well, like you were in the one dungeon, you're like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah, I was getting kind of frustrated because I like the thing with how I play games is I'm not very good at jumping. I don't quite have the hand-eye coordination to jump all the time. So I would often like jump and then die in the river, or you know, jump and have to start over. And I was getting really frustrated because I was like, can you just not make this jump? I don't know any other way to go. And then you would come in and like help me make the jump, and I'd be like, oh, son of a bitch.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, Link's Awakening, I really, really like the game. I think it gave me a better idea of what to expect for future Zeldas, and it really made me more excited to play future Zeldas. Whereas I was pretty nervous because of how much you love it. I was like, oh my God, what if I don't like this game? Like,
yeah, that was a big fear.
Like, I was almost terrified of like, okay, start prepping on how to lie about it.
Important. And like, I do want you to play Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
I don't know when, because Breath of the Wild is like the reinvention of the formula. So like, what Link's Awakening is, Breath of the Wild defies.
Okay.
It's like, okay, you do that, I'm gonna do this. And what Breath of the Wild does is like tremendously awesome. It feels more like a Princess Mononoke than Zelda, in my personal opinion. But
yeah,
Breath of the Wild is that go.
I just need a little bit of hand holding for those types of games where it's like, I know you can just go, but go that way. Like, I need some sort of task at first just to get me going. And then
think Breath of the Wild at least has that.
Yeah, the more I explore and the more I find, like, the easier it is for me.
Because like the other Zeldas,
just be like, go forth.
Are similar but different to Link's Awakening.
Same.
So like you're gonna have some similarities to where like, okay, the world's not really open to me. It's gonna evolve similar to Metroid, but not to that extreme.
Yeah.
And Breath of the Wild starts with just like, there's the world.
It's something that I will definitely have to experience before I can say, no, I definitely would like that. And then if I hate it, I have time to lie about it. But I'm a pretty bad liar, so he'd know. He'd be like, so what's your favorite part? And I'd be like, oh, I didn't think about this. But anyway, a game that I actually am farther ahead than you, that you haven't played.
Yeah. For now.
I'm scared. Send help. But it's Ys, Lacrimosa of Donna.
Yeah.
Donna? I think it's Donna.
It is Donna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like that. It's Dana. It's
right,
Dana. But they pronounce it Donna. I don't know why.
Okay.
Beautiful game.
Yeah.
It's absolutely gorgeous. And that game actually makes me really, really excited to dive into the Ys franchise.
Yeah.
because I love Adol. Probably not the way that like simp girls love Adol, but he has a similar personality to me that Link does.
Yeah.
Where it's like he has his own personality, but you get to make him either sassy or really like accommodating or a mixture of both. So you still can kind of give him added personality on top of what he already has. But I really love the storyline of the game.
Yeah, it has a nice hook.
Yeah, it's basically like they're shipwrecked on this kind of like cursed island, and they're just finding like monsters and bigger, badder monsters, and the whole point is they're trying to get off the island.
Yep.
They're trying to find all of the other shipwreck victims and then get off the island. So that's your main purpose, and as you're going, you're really finding out more and more of the history of this island, and
like it turns into Atlantis: The Lost Empire.
Yeah, it's really, really cool. Like I really love the story. The character design is beautiful. The landscapes, I'm just like, I want to live here. Like I don't care about the monsters, I'll figure it out. But like it really is like a very beautiful game, and it's really easy to play for long periods of time without realizing you've played for long periods of time.
Yeah,
so
I know that feel.
I'm pretty sure like you've left for work.
Yep.
And I'm playing, and when you come home, I'm still playing. I didn't make it that far because I tend to dilly-dally in areas and not progress the game as quickly as I could.
Kept falling.
Oh my god,
through.
I was like spent like 2 hours in this area.
Climb up the vine and jump over.
And then you finally got to that area, and I was like, oh yeah, just get through the area. And it was like 20 minutes, and you were like, all right, what's next? And I was like, fucking kidding me? Like, I spent so much time there. But I would say right now it's on like my top RPG games that I've played for sure.
Nice.
So it's up there with like Trials of Mana and, you know.
Because another RPG that we tried.
I tried.
It was from the creator of Final Fantasy.
So it's
not my favorite RPG, but very enjoyable, and I really enjoyed the characters.
It's the last story.
Yeah.
And I never got to the last of the story. I'm sorry, Phil. I know you love it. I'm sorry. I couldn't get into it.
Right.
I don't know if it is because I dilly-dally so much with RPGs where it's like I fight every single monster I come across. But I don't like the menu.
Okay.
To me, the menu is very confusing. And I also don't know, like, you'll get knives and it's like knife 1, knife 2, knife 3. And it's like, but I don't know how to get to like their stats or what makes them different or special or how to equip them. And they go to a certain character, but they don't tell you what character they go to. So it's like the whole time I thought I was like, I had like a certain sword equipped to one character, and it was just floating in nowhere. Like no one had the sword. And like it's just the menu to me was what put the nail in the coffin.
The menu.
But it's also extremely dark. Not in content, but like the visuals are really, really dark. Not as dark as Constantine. Where it's just a black screen. But they were really dark, and I couldn't quite see what was happening. I didn't know where I was at most of the time. I didn't know how to get to the next area. And it's also like you end up with like a sidekick character at one point, and this was I got so frustrated you had to do it because I was like, I quit. Like I don't want to. Sorry, hiccup. I don't want to play. And you were just like, here, I'll try. And you died a lot too, and you were getting frustrated. And it's like, because basically you're running from these guards, and you have a side character that is like tagging along with you that you have no control over.
Yeah.
But if she gets caught, you also die.
Yeah.
So, and it's like, she just kept getting caught, and like, I'm running so far in front of her, and she just won't pick up the pace and keeps getting us killed. And I was just getting really frustrated.
Yeah, I remember that bit.
So I think that there were just aspects of the game that I didn't quite enjoy, that I'm too short-tempered for.
Okay.
But I feel like I will return to it eventually once I get more experience with games and kind of start to understand how menus work.
Okay.
Because if it doesn't have a simple enough menu, I'm out, because I'm kind of dumb and I need to know how to understand a menu. So I did try. I did.
You put in quite a few hours. Like, it was funny because it was like right after the first like rising action to the plot, like things start getting interesting, and
I was like, all right, I'm gonna put it aside for a while.
Well, no, because like as soon as it's settled, you're like, okay, it's done. all right, this is a good stopping point.
Yeah, I was like, okay, this is a nice place to just put this down for a second.
Like, we board the enemy ship, and it's just like, all right, now we get to the next act, and you're like, nah.
Yeah, I just, like, it wasn't captivating to me. I'm sorry, like for
RPGs are significantly longer than other games, so, like, if they're not grabbing you,
and that's the thing. I put in, like, 2 or 3 hours into the game, and I'm sorry, if you can't captivate me again in 2 to 3 hours, you're either not a good enough story for me, or it's not for me. Like,
taste.
because, like, I love the look of the characters, you know, I like the aesthetic of the game, in picture.
Okay.
But I don't know, maybe one day, but not today.
No problem.
It will be my last story.
And if you thought that was negative, wait till you see our next game.
You do it.
Okay. So,
or
apparently growing up, you played Rayman on the PC.
I did.
And you remember it being a very enjoyable experience.
I did. That's because I played it during school, during typing class when I shouldn't have been playing it. And it stopped after he learns how to punch.
Yep.
Which is very easy levels and gets significantly more difficult after he learns how to punch. And I never played that part. So my dumbass was like, hey, you want to play Rayman? Like, and I saw you slow motion turn at me like, what did this bitch just say?
I'm just like, let's see. We got Sonic the Hedgehog. Mega Man's decent. We got Castlevania.
No.
Rayman.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that was the first time playing a game that I legitimately was like, I'm done with games. Like,
yeah.
Where I got mad enough that, like, gamer rage, like stereotypical gamer rage was just like...
I think it was the most extreme, because you had quite a few bouts and fits during Alice.
Oh, yeah.
You had quite a few fits during that playthrough. But in Rayman, you were just like, this sucks.
I went through, like, 200 lives and still couldn't progress. It was bad. It was real bad. So...
Whereas, like... I made it past, like, the first world, but, like, it just gets harder, and, like, it also gets more bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, the level design is, like, borderline awful.
Which sucks, because it's such a pretty-looking game. The music is phenomenal, and then it just... The gameplay is terrible. Like, it is a terrible, terrible game.
The mechanics just don't work.
It's awful. Even the like, creators were like, it's pretty bad.
Oh, if you slip by this little crack and not get hit, that's how you complete the level. It's just like, Jesus, all right.
Yeah, it's...
Like, it's kind of designed in a way that, like, modders nowadays, it's just like, I'm going to make a Mario level, but I'm going to make it really fucking hard to see if only the 1% can complete this.
Like, it's...
Have your bragging rights. But, like, it's not enjoyable challenging. It's the kind of challenging where it's just like, well, I beat it.
It's the kind of challenging where you kill puppies afterwards because you're just so mad you have to destroy something beautiful. Like,
like, it has a phenomenal soundtrack. It looks gorgeous. Like, this was a time when, like,
not fun
games were looking like Gex and Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
And they decided to just go for, like, a very vibrant 2D art style, which still ages better
it was
than
beautiful. Like,
Gex and Scooby-Doo.
Absolutely.
But the gameplay is bad.
Yeah, it was just really bad. Moment of silence there for
Moment
Rayman.
Of silence for Rayman. And that's the thing. Like, Rayman 2 is one of my favorite platformers. Rayman 3 is a game that I'm seeking and I never see, but, like, I've heard good things. Rayman Origins is the reboot of the first one.
Okay.
And it's multiplayer, and it's really cool.
Yeah, I've never played any of the, like,
but the original Rayman, I never beat. I got up to, like, the 4th world, and it just turns into absolute bullshit.
Yeah, it's just trash. Just look up pictures. You don't need to play it. It's bad. But I think to end on a happier note.
Okay.
Because poor Rayman. It just got shat on.
Yeah. I'm sorry if, like, Rayman is a huge part of your childhood and stuff.
It was for me, too. Like, that's why I saw it, and I was super nostalgic about it. And I was like, hey, I remember this game being fun.
And I play Mega Man, I play Castlevania, Ninja Gaiden. But, like, there's something
keep your rose-colored glasses.
Bullshit about, like, the physics and, like, slipping and sliding and, like...
wasn't a fun time.
It's not enjoyable.
But I ended up rewatching Adventure Time.
Mm-hmm.
So I was, going through the entire series. I just had it on in the background. But I would stop and watch, and you would stop and watch. And you ended up getting Adventure Time Pirates of the Enchiridion for me. So Pirates of the Enchiridion, it has all of the same, like, voice actors. And I don't know that it was recorded specifically for the game or if they took clips and phrases and things from the show and put it in the game. But it is a really interesting game. It's very casual. Like, I can't picture someone sitting down to, like, a 5-hour session and binging this game. I definitely think it's like, yeah, I got a half an hour and, like, sit down and play it. Mainly because the loading time.
Oh, wow.
It has a really, really long loading time.
Okay.
And I do understand it's because, like, game versus hardware versus new console and upgrades and things like that.
Yeah. Well, like, you can also tell that, like, it's cheaply made. I don't mean that too much as a knockoff.
No, you can tell it's a franchise game.
Yes.
It doesn't have the, like...
It's a license
game. The depth and the heart that a lot of these modern games have now. You can tell it's like, oh, we're gonna make money off of your love for this nostalgic
I feel like
cartoon.
it had a tight budget. I feel like it didn't have a Nintendo budget. I feel like it didn't even have a Ys budget.
Yeah, it still definitely deserves some love because it is still fun.
Mm-hmm.
It has, like, some pretty challenging moments too that are really difficult battles and things like that where you're just like, oh shit, I'm gonna die. But it's nice because you get to, like, fight alongside Jake and Marceline, and, like, their powers and their characters and stuff are very true to their characters in the game, in the TV show rather. But it's a fun little game that is just nice to sit down and, like, play for a little bit, and then
I saw it was an RPG, and I'm like, I think she'll like this.
And it's cute because you basically, like, the land of Oo has flooded, and they're on a ship, and, like, you use Jake's, like, stretchy abilities to, like, grab your stuff out of the water. But it is a really fun little game, and I would say if you love Adventure Time, check it out because it is nostalgic and fun to, like, hear them talk and, like, get to control them, and it's like the episode of Adventure Time where Jake and Finn find the little Jake and Finn and, like, all the other little characters, and they, like, control them. Like, it's just fun. It's it's a fun little game. So when you rage watching Rayman, you can kind of wrap up on a happier note playing Pirates of the Enchiridion.
Yeah, just kind of, like, ease out a little bit.
Yeah, it's a fun game to just play and kind of chill.
I was hoping it would be easier. That way it'd be like, oh, Amanda's going to have her own playthrough. But you've died quite a bit. And
it's
either
like,
A, she's really not grasping this, or B, this is surprisingly difficult.
No, I am learning how to utilize their power-ups and their, like, because they have, like, a little storage bag thing of things they can use. So I think I just wasn't using everything, so I was afraid to use it and then not have it for later. Whereas you can come by it pretty easily, so I think I just need to use more rather than just attacking. So I think for me it was strategy, which is why I was dying so often, not necessarily that it's too hard, because I don't think it's too hard. I think it was purely strategy for me.
Gotcha.
But it is fun. It's a fun little game, and I would recommend it to check it out if you like Adventure Time. So, but that's kind of some of the video games that we've been playing the past year. Hopefully we can maybe start having some Mando playthroughs.
Yeah.
Which would be terrifying, and I'm sorry for anyone who watches it to learn about the game.
I was thinking either, like, Mando playthroughs, or if I could, like, get something to work, we'd stream more, like, co-op games.
That would be fun. I mean, I'll kick your butt in Mortal Kombat, but only if it's the arcade version.
And I'll come back and destroy you in Mario Kart, so.
Well, you can kind of see a little bit about our personalities.
Yeah, just a little bit.
But yeah, so kind of look forward to seeing more games and more video games and things like that throughout the next year.
If there's, like, any game you want us to cover, like, sooner, let us know.
I mean, we have a lot of games here. I'm sure we have what you're looking for. If not, I'm sure we can find it. So,
and, like, we can make adjustments. I really don't want another, like, 8-year wait. Like, I made that guy wait for Partners in Time way back on my old channel. So, like, I don't want to do that. But if there's something you want us to cover, we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, just let us know. We have a ton of consoles and a lot of
And if you missed the
games.
other videos, they'll be down in the description on the frickin' thumbnail things that show up at the end.
Yeah.
We'll have those as well. Feel free to click on those and check them out on our opinions on the movies this year and the television shows.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Toodles!